The way I play this matchup against Olaf is in a very unique way. I go phase rush alongside with ignite, and I'm going to explain why now. Pre-6, this lane isn't actually that bad and you can kill Olaf, but it's not always a guarantee. You can actually still outplay it and turn around the 1v1. After 6, anytime he hits a Q on you, you're dead. You either have to instantly flash or ghost away, or you die. If you cannot space out his ulti, you straight up die. Since you're not gonna be able to slow him down with your W, so you won't be able to tag him with Q most likely, and you won't be able to pull him at all, so you will lose that fight. If you have phase rush, you can activate it and then speed away with it, making it to where he burns his ultimate, but you're in a safe distance now. You will have less kill pressure due to no Conqueror, but it means that you can essentially space out every single ultimate he does, and he shouldn't be able to walk into you. Phase rush will also act kind of like a mini ghost, and if you manage to activate it fast, you can get past the front line as long as they don't CC you and pull back the carries. It also scales better than Conqueror. The speed up feels really good, especially due to how immobile Darius is. Now you may be wondering why I have Ignite, and it is because I feel like without having the Conqueror damage, you're never going to be able to fully 1v1 the Olaf. You'll have way too much lane pressure if you run Phase Rush Ghost, and I'm saying this from experience. I have run Phase Rush Ghost, Conqueror Ignite, and Phase Rush Ignite. And out of all of these, Phase Rush plus Ignite has been the most consistent one. Your mid and late game will suffer because you don't have Ghost, but because of the keystone you have, you won't feel the loss of power as much. Itemization wise, I like to rush Bramble Vest into him, but if he looks to go for Ravenous Hydra first, I'm going to get an Executioner's Calling. Then most likely going for Plated Steel Caps, and actually having the very first item as Trinity Force. The reason you go Trinity Force and not Stride Breaker is because you want to walk up to Olaf and just trade with him with WQ, or Auto WQ. If you do that, you're going to always activate the Sheen effect, and then you can walk away. If you do just W plus Q, you will keep your Phase Rush because it won't activate it, since you need to attack him 3 times for it to go off, meaning that you can go for another trade like this, and then if he tries to tag you with an axe and ulti you, you can auto attack him 1 more time and then speed away. Or you can do an auto WQ, which will give you more damage on the initial trade, but then it's going to make it harder to walk up afterwards because your Phase Rush will be on cooldown, so you will need to wait for the cooldown to come back up. And then eventually, after doing this enough times, he will be in kill range with your ulti and ignite. Afterwards, you can go for something like Dead Man's Plate or Spear of Shojin or Sterax, really dependent on what the enemy comp is. Overall, the safest second into Olaf would be Dead Man's Plate, but I went for Spear of Shojin. Personally, I really like that item. The big thing to understand in this lane is that you shouldn't play hyper aggressive. You just want to even out the lane, because in the mid to late game, you should beat Olaf in team fights way harder, and then match him on side lane, and even be able to find some kill angles if he misplays. Usually what Olaf likes to do is charge into the backline and kill the carry, but that means you can get a free reset on him if he goes too deep, and usually he has to go really far to actually kill the carry. That being said, I still like to play extremely aggressively, and I overforced in this lane a lot, even when I know I shouldn't have. My goal here is just to survive, but I still play really aggressively, and that is my fault entirely. You will see it in the gameplay that I could play way more passively. This wasn't exactly a great game for me, but I wanted to showcase it nonetheless. I still played it okay-ish, but I definitely could have died way less if I just played it slower.
An ally has been slain. Enemy double kill.
On to the next.
This right here is exactly what I mean by overforcing. I did my short trade, I procced my phase rush, and I could have just ran away. Instead, I looked to go back and fight him, and maybe I would have killed him if Jarvan wasn't here, but I'm not 100% sure. Because there's no way I can hit my Q on him because his ulti is on, and my phase rush speed right now. Same thing here. I did not have to re-engage this. In this case, I was more confident I would kill him, but I still shouldn't have done it because it was extremely close.
An enemy has been slain. You have slain an enemy. Kill. Double kill. Triple kill.
Peace favors the weak.
Team has destroyed the turret.
You can go resolve secondary into Fiora if you want and run second wind because there's a lot of Fioras who go grass. But if they do that, you can just run Doran's shield and I think it's enough sustain. Overall, I'd say this is a pretty skilled lane. Like most other matchups, you need to play around her parry and her vitals. She can parry both your pull and your ulti, so you have to keep that in mind. If you want to try to guarantee the ulti hit, you want to use your E and then instantly ult because she will be stuck in the pull animation and won't be able to use her parry. But she can obviously counter that by predicting your pull. The way you want to try to engage fights on Fiora is that most of the time when she lunges forward to get a vital proc, you can tag her with your W and look to fight. So you will do a WQ into her. Sometimes Fiora will even try to parry the Q, but then you can follow it up with a pull and try to extend the fight. Overall, I'd say it's still kind of difficult to continue the fight on her, even if you do that, up until you get your Stride Breaker. Once you get that Stride Breaker active, it becomes much easier to space around her. You don't need to W instantly, and instead you can activate your Stride Breaker when she goes for a vital, and then save your W slow for later, while getting the Stride Breaker slow on her and the movement speed that it gives you. I also like to rush either Bramble Vest or Executioner's Calling into Fiora. It mostly depends on what the enemy team has. In this case, even though they have Fiora and Yone, I decided to go for Executioners because I want to have more kill pressure, and because Nunu and Nidalee will also heal, and I can't reduce those unless they auto attack me first, so instead I can just proc it on my damage. So even though it's better into Fiora Yone, you should still be able to 1v1 her in the mid game, and even somewhat in the late game, but you really have to play around her vitals a lot in the late game. You can also team fight versus her because usually she won't be as useful as you, and if you get a reset, you can maybe look to swing around a fight big time, but always make sure you push out the side lane before you go team fighting, or else she will melt your turret in seconds. Never give her an opportunity to just solo split push, or push out the waves really hard so it takes her a long time to reach your turret while you are in a team fight.
This power is meant to destroy gods, men, everything.
Slain an enemy. has been slain. Slain an enemy.
The reason I ult here is because she has 4 stacks on her, and she's most likely not going to expect me to ult only at 4. So it might be more difficult for her to get the parry in. I know this won't actually kill her, but the reason I use my ultimate here is to push her far back and get a reset for myself. This will instantly force her to recall, even though she just TP'd back. So I get a big tempo advantage off of it. Obviously, it means I will have less kill pressure on the next all-in because my ultimate is down and hers won't be, but I can just play it a little slower until it comes back up. In my opinion, this isn't actually that easy of a lane to play. It is technically a skill matchup, but I'd say it's more Jax-sided. Early on, if Jax takes Ignite, he unironically has insane kill pressure on you. His Q cooldown is lower than yours until you get your 3rd rank in your Q. Your rank 1 Q is higher cooldown than his, your rank 2 Q is the same, and then going from the 3rd rank, it becomes lower. So you need at least rank 3 on your Q to make sure you can activate it and he can't just dodge it. But the thing is, if you give him even like half a second of downtime in between your Q and his, he will have it back up because his Q cooldown starts immediately the second he jumps, while yours starts after you fully swing the hit. So during the actual Q windup, you don't get it reduced, but he can jump during that time, making the gap of 1 second be closer to around 0.75 or 0.5. So realistically, you need around level 7 to be able to fully get a Q off and not have it get dodged by his own. His counter strike can dodge your W, and he can constantly jump on your head to do his short trade of just Q auto W and then using counter strike to dodge out any retaliation you have. This would actually be totally fine, but the issue here is mana. Your pool costs 70 mana, on top of the fact that overall Jax has higher mana and even has higher mana sustain than you. So if you use your pool every time he jumps into you, after around 3 pools you are completely out of mana, and then you just can't play out the lane. He can do 3 combos and you can do 3 combos and he will out sustain you on mana. I want to explain why I'm running sorcery into Jax and this setup specifically into him. He can always Q your Q until about level 7. Because I run Transcendence, I get 5 haste at level 5, which may seem little, but it does mean your Q goes from 7 seconds at rank 3 to around 6.6. It might not be that massive of a difference, but it does mean that you have a higher window of using your Q and not getting a dodge. But the big one is at level 8. At level 8, you get 10 ability haste total from Transcendence. So now when you are level 8, you can essentially always guarantee he can't Q your Q. And once you get your rank 5, it's going to be around 4.5 seconds. Again, doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but it will matter because of your first item, which will be Spear of Shojin. The reason you go Spear of Shojin is because of the ability haste it gives on top of the damage amp. With Spear of Shojin and Transcendence, your Q cooldown will go at rank 5 from 5 seconds to 3.7. Your W will also go from 5 seconds to 3.7. And this matters way more than you think. Let's say Darius uses his Q onto Jax, and then Jax uses his own Q to jump in and dodge it. You maybe tag him with an auto W, and then you go for another auto attack to get your third bleed in, and he counter strikes. When he does that, you can pull him back. There is a slight bounce back that happens when Darius does his pull, and if you walk just slightly behind, you won't get stunned. Once you do that, your W will basically be back up because of the lower cooldown, so you're able to tag him with another W, which will give you a third stack, and then your Q will also come back off cooldown, and if you can get one more auto attack in, you can essentially instantly ult his head at 5 stacks, and he either dies or is completely forced to recall. You can also run Legend Haste if you want to, instead of Legend Alacrity, and I dabble between the two. All you need to do is survive until the Shojin spike. It will be more difficult with no bone plating, but it is very doable. Another thing to consider is that Jax's damage is also magical. He has a lot of magic damage in his kit. His W is fully magic, and he maxes that out first. His ultimate third hit is magic, as well as the actual activation, and his counter strike is percent health magic damage. So what you can do is, as your third item against Jax, buy a Cainic Rookern, and then you will make it to where his W, E, and ultimate will essentially never deal damage in a fight against you in any short trade. And if you go for a long trade, that is still completely fine because you will block so much of his damage. I think you will still be able to 1v1 him in the late game, but it mostly comes down to how both players itemize and how the matchup is played skill-wise. Maybe you cancel his jump with your pull, or maybe you mistime your pull and still get stunned. Maybe he dodges out your W with his E. There's a lot of factors to it, so it's not a definitive you will win or you will lose. One more thing that is worth noting in this matchup is that you can actually attack him with your W while his counter strike is on if it is just about to end, or if he's just about to reactivate it. This is usually very difficult to do consistently, but it can be done to kind of eat through his stun and still get your W slow out.
Submit to the madness of tyrants. These petty tyrants are weak.
Dominating.
Be free to fight.
Thank you guys for joining me in this video. I hope you found the information useful, and I will see you in the next video, hopefully very soon.
Night is falling on the old world. You won't live to see the new one.